Hello, everybody. I'm Candid Frank Stanisci of Candid Frank Live. Welcome to the Spanglish World Network on Zingo TV channel 250. Please remember to download the Zingo TV app at the respective app stores for iOS and Android devices. While you download, make sure you rate, leave a comment. Both apps are absolutely free. Zingo TV is available on Google Chromecast, Amazon Fire TV sticks, Roku sticks, and also on all smart TVs 2016 forward. Now, joining me on Candid Frank Live as usual is Aaron William Freeland. Hey, Aaron, how's it going?
Good. How are you doing, Frank?
I'm okay. Not as far to the left as you, but I'm okay.
Excellent.
All right. So let me ask you a question.
Sure.
What were you doing when you were 13?
Let's see. Yeah, not a whole heck of a lot. Trying to figure out how to scam more candy out of the corner store and how fast I could get away on my bike.
Yeah, you weren't showing off a gold medal from the Olympics, were you?
No,
Neither was I.
not.
Neither was I
showing off. Neither was I showing off a silver medal. I think so. Yeah.
I didn't medal at all at the Olympics, ever. So yeah. So I just wanted to start with this story. We'll go to the Olympics further, day 3. But I think the big story has to be two 13-year-olds win big at the Olympics.
Oh, most definitely. That was just absolutely fantastic to see. So yeah, a bit of a surprise, but a first goal and silver medal. Coincidentally, the silver medalist actually went viral a few years back for skateboarding in a ballerina costume. And now she's got herself a medal at the Olympics. So
yes, both girls,
yeah,
skateboarding, which I'm not saying I don't expect it, but you kind of don't. It seems to be something that the guys seem to have most of the attention.
Yeah, no, I mean, it was definitely cool to see Momiji Nishia and Reisa Leal. Momiji is from Japan and Reisa is from Brazil. So it was nice to see them take gold and silver. Again, the big deal being that they're both, 13 years old. And then Funa Nakayama placed third. She's 16. So
okay.
2 of the 3 medal winners are from Japan, which was very nice to see.
Yeah, home team. Okay,
Exactly.
Let's go to the rest of the stories, and we'll start with the CFL. Mazzoli and Evans. There was anybody who would think that Mazzoli was the starting quarterback for the Hamilton Tiger Cats when this season starts, especially going back to his almost MOP season, would be surprised to hear that the coach of the Hamilton Tiger Cats is making sounds like it ain't decided yet.
Well, I found this interesting. I know that I mean Mazzoli's battled some inconsistency in the past couple of years, so I think that's thrown some of that into question. Were this 3 years ago or pre-pandemic, he probably would have been the presumptive starter. But as it currently stands, having Mazzoli and Evans competing is not necessarily a bad thing.
It's absolutely not a bad thing. Speaking of competing, Enoch Mwamba is competing with the Argos, and he's kind of glad to be home. And I'm sure the Argos are glad he's decided to come home.
Indeed, it's always nice to finally settle in somewhere, and I know that he's been around. I mean, he's been with 6 different teams, and he's in his 10th season. There's not that much left for him. Career span wise at 32 years of age, so I'm thinking he might get to finish off his career with the Argonauts in his hometown, so that'll be something special.
Davis, an American running back, Justin Davis, that is trying out with the Red Blacks. It's not often that American stars can cut it here. I don't know what it is, but this guy seems really thrilled with the wide field, and being a running back in the Canadian football, it can be very important. After all, the MOP of the Grey Cup was a running back, Canadian too.
Yeah, I think for running backs and for receivers, this really is a field and a sport that's more tailor-made for them. I mean, the field is not only wider, it's also longer, which means that teams have to air it out, which puts a premium on their position, which is kind of nice for them.
Good for them.
Yeah.
Let's get back to the Olympics, and we know what we were doing when we were 13, not what other people are doing when they're 13. Manitoba, very proud of their Olympic star. Tell us about her.
Well, we're actually talking about
Him,
Tyler
sorry.
Mislachuk today. He was competing in the marathon, the triathlon, and he placed 15th. He was disappointed with the results and felt he could have done better. But as far as everyone in Oak Bluff is concerned, the fact that he placed as high as he did, they're absolutely ecstatic for him. Obviously, every athlete goes in hoping to win. The fact that he couldn't, it doesn't change the fact that he put up a good showing. As a matter of fact, there were actually a lot of people of the triathlon Manitoba community that sort of got together at an outdoor screen to watch him compete. So,
yeah, we must remember that pretty much the whole world competes in the Olympics. So whatever event you're competing in, you're literally, figuratively, and most assuredly up against the best in the world. So, being proud isn't just about reaching the podium. It's also about participation and how far up the scale you can go. It's something that's difficult at best, and we need to support these athletes. They do a great job. They make a large commitment, and remember, they don't get paid, so they do it literally for the love of sport. Speaking of loving sport, in a great province, Alberta, they cheered an Olympian on.
that's right. So this is actually a pretty neat story. Now the person we're looking at here is Jessica Sevick. She's 32 years old from Alberta. She's actually advanced to the Olympic finals. She actually was in an induced coma for 2 weeks as a child after suffering a severe brain injury during a luge training run at the age of 12. I didn't know they started luge that early. That's one on me. But she's made a recovery. She's in rowing now, and I think it's absolutely fantastic. So,
yep, she's a loser and a winner. Team Canada wins Olympic silver medal in women's synchronized diving and the freestyle relay.
Yeah, so this is a little bit older, but the ladies 4x100 and the synchronized diving, Canada managed to place second in both those events, which is absolutely awesome. Penny Alexiak increases her medal haul to 5 now. She becomes the winningest swimmer in Canadian history, which is absolutely awesome. If you happen to see the medal ceremony, it was adorable. All the teammates were giving each other the medals. It was just so cute.
Yeah, and she started on her part of the leg. On her leg, she was 4th, so she went from 4th all the way to get the silver. So that was didn't quite catch the Americans, but came close. Maggie McNeil wins first Tokyo gold in women's 100-meter butterfly, another swim event that Canada does well in.
Yeah, she came from behind again to win this. She finished with a time of 55:59, which is a Canadian record. Zhang Yufei of China finished in second with a time of 55:64. She wasn't actually sure if she'd actually won or not. She did hear her name and thought that she'd done something well, and then she turned around and I don't think she realized she was at the top until a few seconds in. So
that's called focus.
Oh yeah.
Bad news in softball. The men lose 1-0 to Japan.
Yeah, this is not actually something I was overly surprised about. Canada's never really particularly excelled at softball. Hardball, yes. Softball, not so much. So the fact that we're going to be playing for bronze at these Olympics is actually quite nice. So I know that it was an extra innings loss to Japan, but at the same time, they'll be playing for bronze. So that's some consolation there.
In another one, the Germany's gymnasts, female gymnasts, protest with full body leotards, basically protesting the sexualization of young women in gymnastics. We've seen and heard enough bad stories. The politicization of of sports during the Olympics, they've tried to curtail some of it, try to basically corral it, and you can do it up to here, but don't do it at the podium. A lot of politics at the Olympics, and how do you feel about it?
Well, I mean, this all started after the Swedish volleyball team got fined after winning for wearing shorts instead of wearing bikini bottoms. And an interesting side note to that, by the way, is that musician Pink has stepped forward to pay their fine.
That's right.
Saying, hey, if you want to keep wearing the shorts, I'll keep paying your fine for you, because, you shouldn't have to compete in that if you don't want to. If you want to compete in shorts and a t-shirt, you should be able to, as opposed to competing in a bikini top and bikini bottoms. Now, there are other options available. You can wear shorts and or a one piece as well. I personally, as long as you're comfortable, I don't see the point behind that. The uniform doesn't really change anything.
I don't see it as an issue of rolling up socks on a baseball field, if you understand what I'm saying. This really is, it really is, it clearly, it's amazing how when we witness bad decisions by organizations, it's amazing how far their foot is across the line when they get caught. It's not like just the sounds of that, to me, just sounds like somebody's tone deaf, just a little. You have to wear bikini bottoms.
Do you remember the Katarina rule?
Yes. Well, that's because she went the other direction.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Oh no.
She went way to the other direction.
I mean, it was all feathers and high cut and everything like that, and people clutched their pearls so hard they squeezed out a new rule. It was fantastic.
Absolutely. I guess the situation really, what we're talking about here in both those cases, it's conformity. It has its uses and it also has its abuses. So it is what it is. Canada impresses as it dispatches Costa Rica in advance of the Gold Cup semifinal. And they're doing it with players on the side injured.
Yeah, there are a couple key players that have currently been sidelined for Canada due to injury that are unable to play here. But Canada actually won 2-0 over 50th ranked Costa Rica. So Canada is currently 70th ranked. So that's
there you go. So they took on a. Well, Canada has all the ability. When people say, "Well, Canada's not a soccer country," well, I disagree. I think Canada is a soccer country. I think Canada can be a soccer country. And I really, really, really believe that it's all about the organization, that how they put their teams together, how they assemble the coaching staffs, and how they develop the game itself. We all know that you can't have big FIFA events in your country if you don't have a professional league. We know that. It's also the quality of the league. It's the quality of the organization and the willingness for the government to support teams. So I'd like to congratulate everybody down the line, because this does not happen without everybody, including the government. We kick at the government every chance we get, but it's their support of sports, take the podium, when it comes to the Olympics, all that stuff. And I know a lot of people don't think sports is that important, but, I think it should be relative to how important it is to everyone, how much they offer. And why not do something right like that, when it comes to soccer and all the other sports that Canada does well in that we normally don't think of as, like we just saw the swimming medals. Canada historically for years has been awesome in swimming, and it's because of the government support and the people who actually run the sport in Canada that it is successful. And finally, it seems to me that Canada might have their stuff together to put together good soccer teams, football teams, if you prefer, every time there's an event, because they finally figured out how to ensure the best players stay to play in Canada, because I'll call it the latest hurdle that Canada had to overcome. The best players that could play for Canada played elsewhere because the opportunity to play nationally on a bigger stage wasn't there for them. So this victory, I'm not saying it salted things for Canada, but it's another incremental step for Canadian soccer players and leagues to do well when it comes to advancing. So, now other players that didn't think they could play on a higher stage now know they can. So good for Canada. I think it's a great thing because I think soccer can be as good here as it is in a lot of countries. You look at Denmark, they have less people than Canada, and look how well they play. So it's not a question of how many people are in your country.
No, most assuredly not. And again, a lot of the times it has to do with retention of talent, right?
Yeah.
So now that
creation and retention.
Now that TFC has won and Toronto's a desirable place to play, you also have the Halifax Wanderers in the Canadian Premier League, not to mention an expanding Canadian Elite Soccer League with the York Nine and with you've got the Vancouver Whitecaps, Montreal FC. There's more opportunity for them to stick around up here if they want to, which is fantastic.
Absolutely. Every city, every fair-sized city in Canada has a professional soccer team. Not necessarily MLS, but a rung lower, and some maybe a rung or two lower. But still, professional soccer is here, and it's getting more and more popular. I know there are a lot of other sports that are nervous because soccer is such a it really is such a hailed sport in the world. We just saw what happened with the Euro Cup. So good for them, and I'm glad that's happening. Explain to me, Degrassi, London DSQ mistake will stay in my head forever.
Right. So this gets into another sort of passion of mine. Lucas Degrassi was racing in the London E-Prix, which is Formula E cars, which is electronic formula racing. So these are all battery-powered vehicles.
At a desk, at a table.
No, in a car. Actual electric race cars.
Oh, okay. Because I don't know about this.
Yeah, this is it's absolutely fantastic to watch. Weird to listen to.
You mean e-cars like e-bikes? E-bikes, e-cars, same thing? Oh, okay.
Battery-powered electronic race cars with push-to-pass power and all sorts of fun stuff. But basically what happened for Lucas Degrassi is he came into the pit and he didn't actually fully stop in the pit. He locked up his tires, and because the tires stopped turning, he thought the car had stopped and then just let off again. So he was assessed a stop and go. And he was assessed the penalty. He never went in to serve it and got black flagged on the last lap.
Oh, on the last lap?
Yeah, it was.
So he will remember. He will remember. He'll never forget.
The tires were locked and he slid. But for him, he said he thought the car had stopped because the tires stopped.
Right.
And then he slid. Right. So he was trying to pop into and then out of the pits again to take advantage of a late course yellow, and it didn't quite work out for him.
Can I ask a question? I don't mean to put you on the spot, but
sure.
At what speeds can they hit?
The fastest that I've seen them hit is about 177 kilometers an hour. Just over 100 miles.
Okay, so
they don't do ovals, they do road courses. So it's a little more difficult to get up to that sort of speed. This particular track in London is down by the Eye, so they're racing in and out of warehouses in and around the London Eye. So it's absolutely fantastic.
And so is there a lap, or is it a road course as per, what we're accustomed to seeing when it comes to road courses, where you're basically going from point A to point B?
It's like the Molson Indy.
Oh, okay. All right. So I got it now. It's a road race on a road that's not normally a road, so that they can contain it for the fans and for the safety of the drivers.
Exactly.
Got it. Okay. Sounds like fun. I'll have to check it out when I get a chance. Well, send me the link and I'll have to watch it, because anything that goes over 100, I'm interested in.
Perfect.
I've got the bruises on my arm to prove it. Environmental news and climate change. London, the UK, thunderstorms cause flash flooding, submerging roads, and of course, some train stations as well. I don't know. Is climate change here? Is it coming? Or is this just a sneeze? The world that's having a sneeze.
I'll be honest with you, with the storms that we saw and the slow moving cells just basically sitting over some cities in Germany, and the flooding that we've seen in China, and now the footage of some of the flooded tube trains is just slightly shocking, to say the least.
Absolutely.
But I'm inclined to believe that climate change is a bit of an issue. So
yeah, it depends what you consider evidence. I just I think the key word that we can argue about climate, but we can't argue about change, can we?
No, you really can't. And I think when they're using boats to try to rescue people in the middle of a city like London, you have to kind of acknowledge that there's a bit of a problem.
Well, we'll find out. It always comes down to one very important issue. Will we find out there's still time to not have devastating permanent change? That is really what it comes to.
No, that definitely, it's sooner or later you're going to have to acknowledge it, whether you acknowledge it by trying to do something about it now or by trying to block your back door with sandbags so you don't get flooded. Either way, you're going to have to.
Absolutely. Talking about COVID now, Ontario has asked Ottawa to work with WHO, the World Health Organization, on ensuring mixed vaccines recognized abroad. We have a concern here in Canada because we've had it has been approved that you can go from one vaccine to another, and there are some people who feel that that's not acceptable, and some of those people are people that can allow Canadians into their country.
Yeah. Now the problem that we have here is that the AstraZeneca vaccine is approved by Canada, but it's not approved by the States. And they're worried that those people that got that particular shot, because they don't have the Janssen or Johnson & Johnson one, may not necessarily have that vaccine recognized. So it's an issue because the U.S. has also been reluctant to sanction the practice of following a Moderna with a Pfizer or vice versa. So they're, stick to your brand sort of thing. I guess they're kind of stressing brand loyalty at this point, which I'm going to take anything that gets me through this gets me through this alive. Thank you very much.
I'm going to write this off to the same situation when it comes to COVID vaccines, that now all of a sudden we're getting a change of sound from what I'll call the red states in the US. They're beginning to realize, and masking too. There's all of a sudden this subtle change. I don't even know if it's really subtle, where now we're beginning to understand that masks don't work 100% of the time, but they work a large majority of the time. And what they do when they're working is they're helping you not to spread the virus and not to receive the virus. We now, as I said to you folks, I told our viewers a long time ago that just because you have the vaccine doesn't mean you can't get the virus. And if you can get the virus, that means you can spread it. So the unfortunate truth is that the disease is transferable even from people who have been vaccinated. But here's the key. Here's the selfish congratulation that people who get vaccinated can pat themselves on the back for this. They may get the virus, but it most probably won't put them in the hospital and won't put them on death's door. The same can't be said for people who don't get vaccinated.
No, and that's the long and the short of it right there. It's not designed to be a prophylactic to the vaccine. It's not designed to make sure that you never get it. It's there to make sure that you don't die if you do get it.
Because what's in the vaccine are the antibodies that fight the virus.
Well, the instructions to create them, yes.
Right. Okay. Yeah. You're right. The point being, though, at the end of the day, is that you have the information in your body that says to the vaccine, F you.
Yeah.
And that's important when it comes to the vaccine. Well, Aaron, we did it again. You even handled a couple of extra ones today. Good for you, man. You're getting awesome.
Perfect. Hey.
Absolutely.
Streamlining.
Absolutely. Okay, let's do the close. Why not? Thank you, Aaron.
Thanks, Frank.
For Aaron William Freeland, I'm Candid Frank Stanisci. Thank you for watching Candid Frank Live. Aaron, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 6 p.m. This should also be heard on the Spanglish World Radio Network. For Candid Frank Live, other news, entertainment, and sports programming we offer, please check out SpanglishWorld.ca. Spanglish World. Watch it, hear it, read it, download it, and live it. Thank you for watching. Ciao for now. Janet, shut it down.